Good morning, afternoon, and in some cases, evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I am the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I would like to welcome you to the webinar today. Today's webinar is on the social media components of BNI Connect, where we're going to be talking about how do we connect with other members? How do we use this giant BNI Connect system in order to find people around the world, in order to connect with them, in order to give them testimonials, in order to find out more about their business. This word of mouth thing is all about visibility and credibility and profitability. And how can we really use BNI Connect to increase our visibility and credibility and hopefully our profitability as well? So again, some of the topics that we are going to cover today, we're going to talk about how can we connect with other people? How can we find other people? How can we give them testimonials? We're going to do a brief tour of the My Network section. And we're also going to talk about the groups interface, because once you start connecting with people, this is how to get the conversation going with groups of people around the world. So those are the things that we are going to be discussing today. Couple of housekeeping things before we get started, and I see that we still have a couple of people joining us, so give them a minute to get connected. This is a live webinar, so if you do have any questions whatsoever about the content today, please do feel free to ask those questions. You'll notice in the GoToWebinar software here, there is a place where you can type in your questions, and you can type in those questions. They'll pop up on my screen, and I'll be able to answer them as we're going through the material today. If it's something that's completely and totally unrelated, please feel free to ask it anyway. I will have plenty of time at the end of the webinar in order to go through any additional questions. We're scheduled for approximately 30 minutes worth of content. I like to keep the main portion of this to about 30 minutes. That way, if people need to get back to an appointment or to their regularly scheduled busy days, they can do that. That being said, I am happy to hang on after that half hour to answer additional questions for as long as you have questions, until every single question is answered. This is what I do all day, every day. I teach and talk about BNI Connect, so feel free to ask away. We're going to be recording this webinar as well. You can find the recordings to these webinars in a couple of different places. The first place that you'll be able to find it is on the support site. So if you click on this question mark here in the upper right-hand corner of BNI Connect, that will take you over to the support site. And on the support site, you will see our list of upcoming webinars. Let me zoom in a little bit here. You'll see our list of upcoming webinars. You'll see our next webinar is going to be on Monday about the member tools and reports. But if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see chapter training and documentation. And here's where we have all of our help documents. But we also have the recorded webinars, and you'll see our June 2015 series start to take shape here. I have already posted the first one, and I'll be posting this one and the one that we did on Tuesday very, very shortly. So please do check them out here, or you can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Up here, you'll find all of our recorded content. This is where we host it all. So the webinars, as well as a bunch of other things. We have educational moments, short little 3 to 5 minute videos. So if you just want to take, for example, today's topic, which is connecting with another member, there is a short educational moment video that you could bring back to your chapter if you'd like to. All right, so let's get started on this whole connecting thing. Now, before we get started with going and finding other people, one thing that you do need to make sure of is that your information is appropriate in the system. Because just as you'll be looking for other people, people are going to be looking for you. So make sure that you're putting your best foot forward in this whole connection thing. Now, if you want to see what your internal profile looks like, a good way to do that is just scroll down to the bottom of the page. And here you will see a little link at the bottom that says profile. Click on that link. And what that'll do is that'll show you what your internal, your members only profile looks like. This is the profile that will show up when people are looking for you or looking for your business. So a couple of things about the profile. With BNI members, we share quite a bit of information at your discretion. More information here than is available on the public sites, the chapter websites and the regional websites, for example. But here you'll see our list of all the different roles that you have in the system, whether you're a director, consultant, or a member, or a president, or something like that. You'll also see your name and your industry, your business. Note that you can embed videos in there as well. I can show you how to do that if you're interested. They'll also list your keywords. So be mindful that if you put keywords in, people will see those. It will then list your company and have your logo. It'll share your phone numbers, your email address if you would like it to, all your social media connections and your website, things like that. So the more information you share, the better chance it is that somebody will want to contact you or be able to contact you. Now, on the internal profiles, there's also a number of tabs here along the top that you can share with people. There is your bio tab, which is your weekly presentations. You can share weekly presentations with people. Your gains profile, you don't have to email or fax a gains profile anymore to do a gains exchange. You can just go and look at this on somebody's profile. There's also the tops profile. You can look at other people's connections so you can see all the people that they're connected to. And if you click on any of those names, it will take you to that person's profile and you could start to get to know them better as well. Very similar to LinkedIn where you can browse people's first and second level connections, except in BNI Connect, we don't limit you just to the first or second level. You could keep browsing all the way down through. There's also a testimonials tab where once people start leaving you testimonials, you will find all of those here. There's a very brief photo sharing library. You can share things, any photos that you find interesting or gratuitous shots of your children, and even client testimonials. I have always thought this was a great use of the photo sharing library. One thing to keep in mind is that it is limited to 20 photos. People can also see what groups you're participating in. So you have all the different groups. And finally, your training history. So this is all really credibility building information. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on how to do this, but one thing to keep in mind is that these keywords are possibly the most important things besides sharing your information. To update those, make sure you go to Update Profile My BNI page, or back on the home screen, you can also go to Update Profile My BNI page here. And as always, there's multiple ways to get in, so you can click on Options, My Account. And all three of those links will take you to the exact same place, and that's your profile. Now, on the Edit Profile page, you will see your My Business and the keywords. Now, the keywords, again, are very, very important. We are limited in what we put and what we have in our industry and our classification. However, we can supplement that through the keywords. Now, keep in mind that we are not Google. So we don't have the same search algorithms or the same budget of Google. So when you're doing a search in BNI Connect, it is a database search, and this is a big database. So you do have to be specific on what you are searching for. So for example, if I want to make sure that let's say that you're a bookkeeper and you're listed in your classification as bookkeeper. If somebody does a search for bookkeeping, it's not going to find you. So what you want to do is you want to supplement that with your keywords and make sure you put in bookkeeping to complement bookkeeper and or any other services that you might offer. In addition to that, you can also put in things like state abbreviations or the names of cities. For me, I'm a member here in the great state of Rhode Island, which has the distinction of being the absolutely smallest state in the United States. Because of that, we tend to do business in the neighboring states as well. So I wanted to make sure that if somebody did a search for computers in Massachusetts or Connecticut, the two neighboring states, that I was found there as well. So I put those state abbreviations in there. It works in the reverse as well. So let's say that you are you're in one of the really, really big states you know, Texas or California or something like that, and you want to be found in certain cities, and your office is in, let's say, San Diego, but you also want to be found in Los Angeles. Well, you want to make sure that you put Los Angeles in your keywords to supplement San Diego, which is part of your profile in your business address. If you make any changes, be sure to click Update. It will take up to a half hour for the keywords to recache, but the rest of the information, the display information, will appear right away on your profiles. So now that we've done that, let's go back to the home screen here. Now, to access some of the social media components of BNI Connect, what we need to do is to go beyond this home page here. Now, there's a second page behind this one called the My Network page. And if you click on the My Network page, here's where we'll see some tiles for the networking components. We have the connections, and the connections is really your BNI personal address book. So it will automatically be populated with all the people from your chapter. You're automatically connected to the people of your chapter. But as you search for people around the world and want to connect with them, they will become part of your connections as well. The groups are the discussion groups, and right now there are several hundred discussion groups in BNI Connect on a wide variety of topics, everything from having to do with certain categories to having to do with positions in BNI Connect to just wanting to talk about technology or a bunch of different things. There's a document sharing library as well, so your region is able to share documents. Really, this is your director consultants and your executive director, your regional office. They can upload documents into BNI Connect that they feel that you might find useful. For example, in ours, we have our traffic lights and our visitor sign-in sheet. So if I'm the visitor host of my chapter and I need a new visitor sign-in sheet, I can download it from here. Your testimonials management piece is here as well. Your regional events can be accessed through this network page, things like member success programs and other trainings. And there's an internal messaging system. Please keep in mind that this messaging system, which can also be accessed up here, is internal to BNI Connect, though people can forward those messages to their regular email address if they choose to do so. Now let's take a look at how do we find and connect with other people? And we do that by, under the Connections tab here, we can click on the Add button. Alternatively, we can just use this magnifying glass, which is accessible from any screen in BNI Connect. I find that's the easiest way to get in there usually. I just click this magnifying glass up here. So once I click the magnifying glass, it's going to bring me to a BNI Global Directory search. And this is pretty straightforward. You can search just by name. You can search by categories and keywords and all sorts of things. So let's say that I'm going to search for, let me pick somebody that is on the call with us today. Jackie Lamoth is on the call with us. So I know her name. So it's really easy for me to just click on, to type in the person's name and do a search. And here we have Jackie from Maryland. So I'm going to click on Jackie's profile here. And there she is. And you can see she's done a great job of filling out her profile. I don't have her phone number to give her a call or anything, but I do have her website if I wanted to go check that out. I could check the rest of her information out as well. Now, if I'd like to have a more permanent connection with Jackie, what I can do is send her a connection request. So I can click this button here that says Add Jackie to my connections. It's going to have a default message in here, but you can customize this if you'd like to. So if I wanted to say, thanks for being on the webinar today, and then click Submit, this will send Jackie a notice saying Jeremy would like to connect with you. It is an opt-in, so it won't become part of my permanent connections until Jackie has accepted that connection request. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Now, you'll notice that this did open up in a whole new tab, so I can just close this tab and it will bring me back to my original search. Now, again, you can search by keywords and other things as well. And one of the great things about BNI is that we are a big, giant, trusted family of a network, which means that if I'm traveling or if I have clients in another state or even family in other states, rather than turn to Yelp or Craigslist or Google or the Yellow Pages, why not try to use a BNI member to refer those services out to? After all, we have membership committees and everybody's doing the same thing in BNI. Let's try to pass business to fellow BNI members. Now, we can do that by, let's say that I'm going to be, my grandmother is in Florida and she needs some computer help, and it's something that I'm not going to be able to handle from here in Rhode Island. So what I could do is do a search for, let's see, computer repair in Florida. And when I do this, this will give me a return results of a whole bunch of things. It will limit it to 250 entries just to keep the search fast. So if you do need to find more people than that, you'll have to customize the search. But from here, all we need to do is we can pick on somebody, read their profile, and then get in touch with them. Now, Hudson here has done a great job of sharing a bunch of his information, and if I need to pick up the phone, I need to call him right away, I can do that. I can send him a quick email if I want to, and be able to pass this business to Hudson right away. Let's just pick one more random person here, and Isaac as well. Isaac has done a good job. He uploaded his photo, and he's sharing his information. So it makes it really easy to get in touch with these people. Now, on the other hand, if you haven't filled out your profile, let me find somebody that hasn't filled out their profile. Now, Marky Mark from the Funky Bunch, he's one of my test members up in the Antarctica region. And if you haven't yet filled out your profile, this is what it ends up looking like. Not a big credibility builder, and also there's no way for me to get in touch with Marky Mark. So he won't be getting many referrals or many phone calls for business. Now, Dr. Meisner has said a number of times, he says, listen, I can't guarantee you'll get any more business just by filling out your profile. However, I can guarantee that you won't get any extra business if you leave it blank. It's kind of like taking out an advertisement in the newspaper and leaving it blank. Now, there is also an advanced search. If you click this advanced search button, you will be brought over to all of the different things that you can search against. So if you want to specifically search for somebody in only the United States or in any of these are all of the countries here where BNI has a presence currently. And as new countries come on board, you will see them added to the list. But there's well over 60 countries that BNI is available in. You can search specifically against certain industries or against cities and states. So if you're looking for something a little bit more granular, you can use this search as well. Now, what about after you started sending these requests and people are sending you requests? As I mentioned before, it is an opt-in, so you do have to accept those connections requests. And we do that by going into our connections interface. So we can do that from the My Network tab, and we click on Manage. Alternatively, you can click on Network up here from any screen and go to Connections. Now, the connections, as I mentioned before, is kind of your personal BNI address book. So it will have all of the different people that you're connected with. You'll see them listed both here on the left and on the right. I can scroll through and pick any of my connections. Let's see, Tony Wolf here. He's a director consultant down in the Florida area. And if I click on Tony, I can see all of his information up here. I can email him. Again, it's just like a contact card for Tony, so I don't have to go searching for him. I can click through to his social media sites. I can send him an internal message. I could ask him for a testimonial. I can go and view his profile, or I can remove him from my connections. One thing to consider is that you can control the connections with other people. However, the ones that are within your chapter, those will, as I mentioned, be managed automatically. So as people come and they join your chapter, they will be automatically added to your connections. As people leave your chapter, they will be automatically removed from your connections. Angela Moon, for example, she's a person in my chapter, and you'll notice I don't have the opportunity to delete her from my connections. Again, because she's a member of my chapter. As I said before, you do have to accept your connections. You'll see that down here at the bottom. You'll see your received requests. Now you can see right now I do have 14 received requests from various people, so I can choose to go in and accept those. If you'd like to, you can click on them individually and choose to accept them. Some people will have sent you a message, just like I sent Jackie a message before. You can read that message by clicking on Read Message, and it will tell you the message. I can then make a choice right here if I want to accept, ignore, or reject that particular request. And that one is now accepted. If you're not sure who the person is, you can click on their photo here or on their name, and that will open up a new window and bring you to their profile. So you can check who they are. Oh, I remember who Lee is. He's from the Northwest area of Florida, and I remember who he is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and accept that one as well. Now, if you have a whole bunch of them, I have 12 of them sitting here right now. If I'd like to accept them all at once, I can go ahead and click on Select All. That will allow me to select everybody in this list, and I can go ahead and choose Connect to Selected. Once I'm all connected, that will go ahead and refresh. And my received requests are now 0, and my connections are up to now 501. So they will now be in my contact list, and I can go through and look at their information, get in touch with them, and do things like leave them a testimonial. Now, testimonials are given through your connections. You must be connected with somebody in order to give them a testimonial. So we can see here Alan Yonkers, he's one of my connections. If I wanted to give Alan a testimonial, what I would do is click on Give Alan a Testimonial. I just need to write out my testimonial and click Submit, and that testimonial will appear on Alan's profile. If you want to manage your testimonials, what you can do is click on this Testimonials button here. Back on the home screen, you can click on Manage under Testimonials, or of course you can always go to Network Testimonials. So here we can see our testimonials received. I've received 18 testimonials, so I can go through if I wanted to. I have one from Anthony Antarctica here. It says Jeremy is cool. So I can choose whether or not I want to display this one on my profile or hide it. I could also choose to remove this testimonial. Keep in mind that at this time, we can only give one testimonial to each person that we're connected with. So you do have to make it a good one. If you need to update that or you need to have it removed, you need to contact your testimonial partner here and ask them to delete the testimonial in order to be able to submit a new one to that person. You can also review any testimonials that you've given. And then if people have requested a testimonial from you, you can review those here and choose whether or not to go ahead and give one, ignore it, or reject it at this time. All right, the last thing I'd like to show you today, we have about 6 minutes till the bottom of the hour, is the groups functionality here in BNI Connect. Now to access the groups, we can again go back to the home screen and the My Network page. And under groups, we can click on Manage. That will bring us to the groups interface. Alternatively, you can, from any other screen in BNI Connect, click on Network, Groups. Once you're in the Groups interface, you will see a list of all of the discussion groups here in BNI Connect. And as you can see right now, there are 562 active groups. There is a policy in BNI Connect that if a group is dormant for more than 120 days, it will be removed from the system. So you can be assured that the information is current, it isn't stale. People are actively participating in these discussion groups. And as you can see here, there are topics on just about everything. So there's one that looks like this has been created as a substitute list. There's one for BNI chiropractors and health and wellness. There's one here in Spanish for medicine. Property and development. Now you can go through and you can just go page by page. Now with 562 groups and about 6 groups per page, that could take a while. If you find one you like, just go ahead and click Join Group, and now you will be a part of that group, which means that you'll be able to participate in the discussion, and you'll also be able to receive the reminders for anytime somebody posts in that group. If you'd like to be a little bit more specific and not go through page by page, you can do that by clicking on the magnifying glass. And my first recommendation to you is to go and subscribe to Dr. Meisner's groups. He has 2 groups in BNI Connect. He is active in both of them. He uses them for discussions as well as to remind people of things like the new blog postings or podcasts that have come out. So I can do a search here for the creator, Meisner. And this will bring up all of the groups that Dr. Meisner and his wife, Beth Meisner, are authoring and sponsoring here in BNI Connect. If I'd like to look at either of these groups, I'm already a member of the group, so I can choose to leave the group if I want to. But if I'd like to look at the group and participate, I would just click on the Y BNI here. That will bring me into the group. I could take a look at any of the topics that are happening. And if I'd like to, I can post something in this group as well by posting a message. Once you've started subscribing to groups as well, you will see them listed. If I click on My Groups, this will be all of your groups that you are participating in. And if you'd like to go back to the full list of groups, toggle back over to Public Groups. Every BNI member is also able to create and manage up to 7 of their own groups. Now you do that by clicking the Add Group button. And all you need to do is fill out a couple of little pieces of information here. For example, I'm going to just create a test group here. You can choose what type of group it is, whether it's an open group, meaning anybody can see the group and participate, or whether it's an invite only, which means it will be hidden and you have to invite people to that group. Finally, there is a members can invite, which is kind of a hybrid of the two, where once somebody becomes a member, they can invite their friends to it as well. Give the group a description. The language is just really letting people know what language will be the primary spoken language of that group. And then you can choose to invite anybody that you're connected to. I can then click Submit, and this group will be created. Once you have your group created, make sure that you are going to participate in that group. So you want to get in there and do a post right away and start the conversation going. I'm going to go ahead and delete this group. And that is the groups functionality. All right, so we are at the bottom of the hour. We are 3:30 Eastern time now. What I'd like to do is for anybody that does need to leave right away, I would like to say thank you so much for being here. I will still continue to entertain questions, so if you do have a couple more minutes to hang out, please do feel free to ask as many questions as you'd like to, and I'd be happy to answer those questions now. Just a reminder, it's being recorded. It'll be available on YouTube as well as on the support site. Let's see, we have a couple of questions here. Jackie says, what do non-BNI members see when they are looking for a profession? What do non-BNI members see? Okay, so non-BNI members obviously can't get into BNI Connect, so they can't log into this members only portion. So they would see things through your regional website. So for example, if you click on regional website here in the upper right-hand corner, that will bring you to your regional website. Ours happens to be bniri.com where I'm located, but each region has their own. Keep in mind, if you're one of the people that have just migrated over from BNI Web, so somebody from Canada or New Zealand or Australia or Northern Virginia or Chicago, your site may not be fully active yet. So if you see your old BNI Web website, don't panic. The new one will be up shortly. But in the meantime, this is the BNI Connect site. So if I'm a member or somebody looking out there on the general internet, even if I do a search, by the way, on Google, and I do a search for myself, so if I Google myself here, the first result for me is my BNI Wakefield chapter profile. And this is what people see on the regular internet. They see most of my profile. So they see my name, my company details, my phone number. That's not sharing my email address publicly, but it does give them the opportunity to send a message. All my social media links and my business description, and this is the TOPS profile here. Now, the question is, can they also find a plumber and things like that? And absolutely. So they could do a search on bniri.com and say, let's say, find a member, and let's do a search for plumber. Now, it's automatically going to be filtered just to this region, so I can see a list of, 27 plumbers here in the Rhode Island and Massachusetts region here. Again, I can click on, really any of their profiles, and Ross has somewhat filled out his profile. He has a picture up and his logo up, and luckily he does have a phone number if I'd like to get in touch with him. Dawn says, when will we be able to give testimonials? And thank you for closed business. I'm in Pennsylvania, Montgomery City, but unable to thank somebody in Philadelphia. So testimonials, Dawn, you can give those now. You do just have to be connected with them. So do a search, make sure you get connected with them, and you will be able to give a testimonial to anybody that you're connected with. It doesn't matter where they are. As far as referrals go, and thank you for closed business, that may take a little while longer. What we are waiting for is really the whole world to accept the cross-chapter referrals. There's still some countries out there that do not allow the cross-chapter activity. So once that is a universally accepted thing in BNI, we will open up the referral system so that you could pass a referral anywhere in the world. So I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if that's 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, or 6 years from now. But that is the plan. So hopefully that helps, Dawn. All right. What other questions? Questions? All right. It looks like Dawn had the last word. That was the last question. So if there's no additional questions, going once, going twice, I will say thank you so much for being here today. Reminder that this it's being recorded. Find it on YouTube. I would also absolutely love it if you gave us a like. Go to facebook.com/BNI Connect Global, /BNI Connect Global. And this will be our BNI Connect Global site. Please do give us a like up here. I would love to get to 10,000 likes for BNI Connect Global soon. and I could use your help with that. And finally, on the support site, you will see our list of upcoming webinars. A good referral for me is to please let your other members in your chapters and in your regions know about these webinars. There are final 2 webinars in the member series happening next week. And that's going to be on Monday, June 15th. We're going to go through the member tools and reports. We're going to go even deeper into BNI Connect and show you some of the things that you have access to as a member here in the system. And then the final thing will be inviting and registering visitors. That is step 5, and that will be on Tuesday of next week. We also have some special webinars coming up for chapter webmasters as well as for leadership teams. All right, well, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Happy connecting.